Yo, 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 yo. What is up, motherfuckers? Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Yeah. What is happening now? Oh, what the fuck is happening now, y'all? It's your boy, Danny Boy, with another pretty short episode tonight of what the fuck is happening now here in the Juggalo world that we love and we live in and we enjoy. There's all kinds of shit popping off all the time. There's never a stale moment here in the Juggalo world. Whoop whoop, KJ Riddle. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm gonna just chill here for a second, let some other viewers pop in, and we'll start talking. It's got a pretty quick episode tonight. I'll let you guys know right now. I really only have kind of a big one main topic to talk about, and that is ABK. So we'll be going into ABK here in a sec. What's up, everybody? What's happening? We're talking about ABK, everybody's favorite killer tonight. There was a very recent interview conducted with our favorite killer, done by what's that? 101 Wicked 101 Radio. Sorry about that. I forgot the name for a sec. So we're going to talk about some stuff that ABK talked about in that interview. It was actually about a 2-hour long interview with the dudes over at Wicked 101, which is actually an MNE radio station. So I know there was all kinds of buzzing on the streets talking, oh, ABK is going to MNE. So this episode tonight is really regarding ABK. For those of you guys that care and follow ABK, I do. I've been following ABK since the very beginning, since I was the very first Juggalo. I became down in the Wraith era in about 2002, and that's also the same time I became down with ABK. So I've been listening to him the whole time, pretty much, that I've been a Juggalo. So I care about him a lot. He's actually one of my favorite Juggalo artists, and if you don't care about him, then this episode might not be for you. But if you are interested in kind of the knowings of what's happening with ABK, what label is he on? What's he doing? What projects is he working on? Shapeshifter this, Shapeshifter that. Then you might want to tune in, motherfuckers, because I listened to that interview today and found out some quite interesting information. So I think I'm done waiting for my viewers to pile in. What's up to all three of you motherfuckers? Excuse me. Let's get on with the show, okay? So first, like I said, my very first topic of discussion tonight is ABK. Everybody's favorite killer, anybody killer. So I don't know if y'all had a time to scope the interview that was done. It was either done yesterday or today. And I feel like a lot of information came out of this because we don't hear very much from the killer that often. There's always all kinds of speculation on the street about what he's doing, where he's at, where he's going, what projects he's working on. And, I feel like that's one of the ninjas in the underground that people are always wondering what really is going on with ABK. And although we still may not fully know, even after this interview, we definitely have a much better idea. So I just want to put it out there now. I'm not going to beat around the bush. For all you guys waiting for me to say, well, he finally came out and said it. ABK is on MNE. Actually, y'all, that's not the case. ABK confirmed today in the interview that he is still on the hatchet. That's right. I want to repeat myself again. ABK is still on the hatchet. For all you haters and doubters out there, I know there's several of you I'm thinking of right now that I'm not going to mention, but I do know y'all are spreading fake news, acting like you know facts and shit, when in fact you're just turning your speculations into facts, which aren't real facts. The killer himself confirmed that he is still on the hatchet. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I will say it for the third time. Now, y'all must be wondering, you know, if he's still on the hatchet, why the fuck hasn't he released any albums on the hatchet? I think actually one thing that was went over in an interview, his last album that he dropped on Psychopathic was in 2014. So it's been a minute. It's been about 5 years. It's been about half a decade since we've heard any new music from ABK released on Psychopathic. Now, he's been doing a lot of projects on his own label, on Native World. You know, ABK always gets criticized that he doesn't put out enough stuff. But when you actually really go out and look at what he has released this year and just in the recent past, he's actually put out a lot of stuff. He's right now he just put out the third Killa Features album. I think that came out at the Gathering or around that time this year. Because for those of you who didn't know, he's working on a Killa Features kind of trilogy type of thing. So he did like the first Killa Features, then what was it? The second one, I forget what it was called. Double feature, was it? I don't know. My brain's not working tonight, y'all. And then there was triple features, which was kind of like the featuring freshness type of deal, where it was like usually ABK bringing on other artists, usually like artists on Native World and stuff. So yes, he has actually put out those. He's put out those albums. He's been putting out Christmas singles. He's been putting out Halloween singles every year. You know, his black and orange Halloween tradition singles that he puts out. He's been doing those, and he's always dropping new singles and new songs here and there. So for anybody that says that the Killa doesn't actually put music out, they're actually wrong, or they just haven't been paying attention. He actually has been putting shit out steady, and for those of you guys didn't know, he has a fairly new YouTube channel called Native World Inc. If you're not subscribed and you do like ABK and you're interested in what's going on in the world of ABK, subscribe to NWI. What's it? I think there's a specific name for it. Again, I'm having a brain fart tonight, y'all. It's called, the name of the channel is called NWI Space TV. NWI Space TV. If you guys want to go over there, subscribe to that channel. That's pretty much ABK's just personal channel, where he's going to just be putting out all the music videos and all the stuff he usually wants to release out to the world. So check that out, you guys. So I'm sure the next thing that is on everybody's mind is, well, what the fuck is up with Shapeshifter? As of this point, you probably belong in one of two categories. You probably belong to the category of ninjas that is still holding on to the hope that Shapeshifter will come out, wondering when the fuck it's gonna be here, and that it's been talked about for the past, what, 5 years at least. And then the other group of ninjas that have completely given up hope on that album, thinking, you know, it will never actually come out. Shapeshifter will never actually see the light of day. And I got to admit, I started kind of straying into that group, thinking, you know what, it's a lost. It's all it's ever gonna be is a little EP sampler, and that's all Shapeshifter's ever gonna actually be. Well, ladies and motherfucking gentlemen, another thing ABK announced tonight on the interview was that, in fact, Shapeshifter will be coming out soon. He said, even expect in 2019 when we will be seeing Shapeshifter. Now, I'm sure there's you doubters out there that are saying, fuck out of here. You know, he's just saying that. He's been saying that. You know, there might be some truth to that, but right now I'm a little bit more optimistic hearing it from himself. Tampon juice, yes, KJ. I will get into tampon juice here briefly. But yeah, so it sounds like Shapeshifter is happening. Now I've been keeping track of Killer for the past while now, and it sounded like the album was done, and it has actually been done for a while. I actually had a little conversation with ABK at the gathering this past year, and I asked him myself. I was like, you know, is Shapeshifter done? And he said essentially, yeah, it's done. And I asked him if part of the problem that it hasn't been out yet is that Psychopathic wasn't cool with releasing it with with production from Otis. And ABK said, yeah, man, you're right. Like that is part of it. So it's kind of discouraging to hear that, you know, the big head honchos over at the Hatchet are still holding so close to this fucking beef that they won't even let an artist release a record that has Otis beats on it. Like, to me, if you ask me, that's real petty shit. Honestly, that's just fucking stupid, if you ask me. But then again, nobody asks me because that's not my job, and I don't work over there, and I'm not involved in the music industry. So who the fuck cares what I think? So we have known that Shapeshifter actually has been done for a while. But what I guess ABK just said is expect it in 2019. But he still is ready to go to the studio and add even more to it and make it a little even better and make it a little bit fresher before he finally releases it upon the world. The interviewer, I forget his name. I forget the interviewer's name, but he even asked, he's like, let's just be straight with it. Like, are you planning on releasing another record on Psychopathic? And ABK straight out, he didn't even think about it. He's like, yes. He said, yeah. Right after the interviewer asked him that. And, you know, it kind of got me, like, I paused my shit for a second and was like, okay, I got to watch this. Because a lot of ninjas, me included, we're thinking, you know, we're not going to get another album on Psychopathic from ABK. But he did say yes. He said the words, yes, we will. Not only expect Shapeshifter, but he said even after the whole Juggalo Unity tour and stuff is done, that he's planning on booking studio time at Psychopathic to wrap up Shapeshifter and to even work on more future projects. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, he's even talking about doing more future projects at the Hatchet. So, you know, ABK could be just totally blowing smoke up our asses, which I won't rule out as a possibility. But at the same time, I kind of believe what he says this time. I feel like this would have been a good opportunity to really let anything out about, oh, I don't work with the Hatchet anymore. You know, he was doing an interview with the MNE channel, so this would have been the perfect time to just come out with it and say, I'm done working with the Hatchet. And he didn't say that. And in fact, he said that there would be more projects coming out on the Hatchet. So that I kind of believe that when he says it. So that was really kind of a breath of fresh air to hear. Now I support Killa in what he does, and I support Native World. But I'm gonna put it to you like this, and I'm gonna be honest as fuck. Those Killa feature albums and pretty much everything ABK has put out on Native World, you can tell it has subpar production value to it. It is kind of not the best sound quality. You know, I don't have to argue about this with anybody. Anybody who's ever actually heard, say, for example, Killa Features versus Hatchet Warrior, two totally different production. Like, Hatchet Warrior is like a motherfucking masterpiece. And I'm not just talking about like the songs, but just in the production and the way it sounds, you know, you could tell it was mixed and mastered and put out in a professional way, recorded at a professional studio with professional recording equipment. Whereas a lot of these projects coming out of the native world, again, no disrespect to them, but it is definitely more mediocre sound quality. There's definitely, it's just shittier production. Let's put it cut and dry like that. So I can't lie. One of the things that was going through my head was, you know, shit, ABK is slanted to do this interview here on this M&E channel. He's about to tell us that he's moving over to M&E. And I wouldn't have actually been surprised to hear that, just for the fact that he needs and he deserves better production. Plain and simple. You know, for all you haters watching me right now, that hate M&E, that's fine. But you can't lie that at least the music that comes out of M&E is done professionally and is mixed and mastered with professional production quality. So I was thinking maybe ABK was about to move over there to get that. But what it sounds like from what he's saying from this interview is that not only will he be doing some more projects and work with the Hatchet, but expect to see him also be doing work with Magic Ninja. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this sounds like the freelancer of the underground right here. ABK does whatever the fuck he wants, whenever the fuck he wants, and he has positioned himself to the point that he can pretty much do that without getting fucked with. He's maintained the peace. He doesn't talk about drama. And I think as a result of that, people see that and are willing to work with him. The ninjas over at MNE want to do work with him. It sounds like the Hatchet is still willing to do work with him. And just total side note, just another kind of little thing that I heard from the interview that kind of made me believe more that yes, he is on the Hatchet, is he's talking, he said something about, well, actually, I'll move on to tampon juice right now because KJ said it in the chat. I don't know if he was joking or what, but one of the future projects that ABK did say he wanted to work on after he booked studio time with Psychopathic was a project called Tampon Juice. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you heard me correctly. Tampon Juice. And he didn't really say much about it. It was really kind of just more him and the interview. He kind of laughing and joking. So I couldn't really tell if ABK was kind of just trolling and just saying that. But what he did say is he's like, I can't really imagine going up to Billy Bill with the projects that says tampon juice. Billy Bill would probably slap that shit right out of my hand and say, no, it's not the name. So just for the simple fact that he said Billy Bill makes me think that, yes, he actually is still working on the Hatchet. And yes, he still is working with the Psychopathic record team. So whether Tampon Juice is a real project or not, or if he's just trolling the fuck out of us, I don't know. But from what it does sound like is that he does have full intentions to get to work at Psychopathic and keep putting shit out. So to keep it nice and simple, ladies and gentlemen, motherfucking ABK sounds like you're gonna see projects from him on M&E. You're gonna see projects from him on Psychopathic, and you're gonna, of course, see projects from him on his own label, Native World. So this was big news to me, y'all. I think a lot of ninjas were kind of wondering what the whole status was with him. You know, and if you go on Psychopathic Records, he is listed still. Killa is still listed as one of the artists. So for all y'all motherfuckers spreading fake news out there, just know that's not true. He's not over. He didn't sign to M&E. You know, he's not leaving the Hatchet. And for anybody, any juggalos out there that have been around for a while, all you old school heads, you know that ABK has kind of had a love-hate relationship with Psy. He's been on and off the label several times. I remember in 2008, before Mudface came out, he wasn't on Psy for a while. That's I think when he first kind of started the Native World. I went to Hatchet Attacks 2008, and he was supposed to be there, but I remember that was kind of like right when the whole little drama was going on with them, and ABK wasn't at Hatchet Attacks. But then, lo and behold, a few months later, he came back onto the fucking Hatchet, released Mudface for the world to see. So we all know, if you've been around long enough, you know that it's not always been peachy keen with ABK and the Hatchet. There's always been these feuds back and forth. Always, you know, he's left, he's come back. He's left, he's come back. Well, here we are, almost about to be 2019, and what it sounds like is he is about to do work with M&E, Psychopathic, and, of course, Native World. I know you love ABK, Roxy, and I love him too. I love him too. That's why I'm talking about him right now. Because to me, ABK is an OG. Like he helped form me into the juggalo I am today. Just to keep it simple, I won't get too mushy into it. But I've essentially been listening to ABK almost as long as I've been listening to ICP. So he's definitely one of my top favorites. So yeah, what was I saying? Okay, so other kind of big news, that was kind of the biggest news that dropped on the interview today. Other kind of stuff to talk about is some future projects going on with him on Native World. Actually, for y'all that are fans of ABK, you can expect a new project coming out actually in a few weeks. What he's doing is basically getting records together of just freestyles. It's just going to be him freestyling, and other of his homies in Native World probably. They kind of just got together, got high and drunk in the studio, and just threw together a record of freestyles. From what it sounds like, this isn't actually just a one record. It sounds like it's going to be a multiple part deal. But it sounds like we're going to get the first installment in the beginning of January, which is just a few weeks away, or a week away. Who knows? We could see it. We could see it real soon. So that's one of them. Now we can move on a little bit to the Juggalo Unity Tour. As y'all know, ABK and Blaze are just about to hit the road and go on a nationwide Juggalo Unity Tour. And it's not going to be any ABK songs. It's not going to be any Just Blaze songs. From what it sounds like, it's going to be drive-by. It's going to be mostly drive-by. Drive-by slash like ABK songs featuring Blaze, or Blaze songs featuring ABK. But it's not going to just be any solo songs. In fact, one of the callers actually called in during the interview and was like, please play, ABK, please play To Whom This May Concern. And he's just like, nah, that's not, I'm sorry, but we're not playing it. So we already know that we're not going to get any Killa songs on that tour. It's going to be drive-by. He said it's going to be old school drive-by. And he said it's going to be new school drive-by. And on top of that, it's going to even be some brand new drive-by. So I know there's speculation all around the interwebs right now about a new drive-by album. Will we see that? I've even heard rumor that this new drive-by album will have the M&E stamp on it. Will this drive-by be released on M&E? Now, I wouldn't be surprised. And the reason I say that is when you go to buy tickets for the Juggalo Unity Tour, as a matter of fact, what was I saying? When you go to buy tickets, it's actually through M&E. Psychopathic isn't selling these tickets. Neither is Native World. And this is actually being listed as a Magic Ninja Entertainment event. So a new drive-by album, maybe. Will it be released on Psychopathic? Probably not. It will probably be released on M&E. Shapeshifter, however, does sound like it will be released on Psychopathic. If it ever comes out, y'all. But like I said, I have a little bit more faith hearing that today. So yeah, he was even asked about the have-nots. What do you see yourself doing any future have-nots projects? And he didn't really say a straight answer, but he did say how much fun it was working with Big Hoodoo and Bones. He he said like the Have-Nots is one of his favorite things to do. It's one of his favorite collabs to get together. He says when he does Have-Nots, it's basically just all fun and just it's just a good time, and that he super enjoys working with Hoodoo and Bones Dub. So, will we see more Have-Nots in the future? Maybe. Still not really solid on an answer there, motherfuckers. So I recommend you guys go watch the interview if you actually care about ABK. If you have 2 hours of your time. Aside from the news that I just talked about, there's a lot of really cool old school information that he talks about, some history, and it's just a lot of really cool tidbits and facts. So if you guys are interested, go check it out. The homie Drunken Ninja Master Jr., he's always the ninja pulling videos from Facebook over to YouTube. So if any of y'all are like me and don't have any other social media except YouTube, go check out Drunken Ninja Master Jr. And the interview is right up there. He's got a New Year's show coming up. The only reason I mention this is because D Lyrical, Stale motherfucking Dale, is actually on the list to be performing that night with ABK, along with Jay Villain and Mr. YUG. So that's being held in Warren, Michigan. Unfortunately, I can't go. I would go and show my love. That'd be dope to see, especially see D Lyrical opening up at an ABK show. And is it just like the computer, or does my face look like sunburnt as shit? Look at that. It looks like I have like a real pink ass face. But y'all ninjas in the chat are real loud tonight. I wish you guys would cool it a little bit. It's getting to be a little bit too much there in the chat. So yeah, that's really about it when it comes to ABK. I just wanted to let that out. I wanted to let you guys know, stop the rumors about him being off the hatchet. He is on the hatchet, and we should see Shapeshifter this coming year, ninjas. So that's what the fuck is happening now with ABK. I'm going to briefly just talk a little bit about Fearless Fred Fury, and that'll be the end of the show tonight. So as y'all know, Big Ballas was last weekend. KJ Riddle, I know you was at that. And so far within this past week, I've heard quite a few dope ass stories, some really dope stories about it. So many stories to the point where I feel like I could picture it in my head, like I was like being there. One of the things that was confirmed at Big Ballas is that Straight Jacket will be producing the entire Joker card, Fearless Fred Fury. And in fact, he was even presented with a Dawn chain. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. For all you new school heads that don't know what the Dawn chain is, basically it means over at Psychopathic Records, they've been doing this shit for years. Is basically for the people that have put in the work, they get presented with a dope ass Hatchet Man pendant. I don't have a Hatchet Man on this one, but you get the point. And I presented as Dawns over at Psychopathic. So I like Straight Jacket. I like what I've heard from him so far. I gotta admit, I'm not super familiar with a lot of his shit. What up, Bronco Juggalo? Glad to see you pop in. So I don't really feel a certain way about this. I'm glad. I'm glad Straight Jacket put it in his work, and if he received a Dawn chain over there, it clearly means to me that he made a dope Joker's card. Because I'm assuming by now the Joker card is probably just about done. It might be done, and now all that's left is pressing it up and distributing it and all that bullshit. Who knows? But the point is, if they're presenting him with the chain, then that means the clowns and the real head honchos over at Psychopathic view him as worthy enough to receive that chain. So I'm looking forward to Fearless Red, as most all you motherfuckers are. I gotta admit, I'm a little bit disappointed that we're not getting Mikey Clark production on it. And I know I probably sound like a little crybaby bitch. Danny boy, get with the times. It's not fucking 1997 anymore. Like times fucking changed. They can't always have Mikey Clark. And I get that. But I'm a little bit butthurt because I'm gonna say like maybe 9 months ago to a year ago, I forget when. But there was definitely talk from the clowns and from them over at Psychopathic that yes, in fact, Mikey Clark will be on the next Joker cards, y'all. So that apparently was a lie. Fiending for that shit. Me too, buddy. Me too. We got about a month and a half left, and Fred will be here. And there's gonna be so much. It's gonna be so much to talk about. But I will save that for another episode. I just mainly wanted to say when it comes to the production, it sounds like we're gonna get Straight Jacket on this bitch. So this is my message to you, Straight Jacket. Yo, bro, this is your time to motherfucking shine. And this is your time to prove yourself. Because if you're on a Joker card, this ain't just like a little EP or little single project. This is a fucking Joker card. So I really hope that his production comes through and we get some dope ass beats. So that way Straight Jacket can kind of be the next generation. I don't want to say the next generation Mike Clark because there's no one that can replace him. But you know what I'm saying. And for all you motherfucking hip hop heads out there, this is just a side note. This is just one thing that kind of pisses me off. Very, 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 very rarely does the beat maker and the producer get any credit for anything when it has to do with a rap album. Back in the day, that's not how it used to be. Way back when the birth of hip hop, it used to be the DJ and the MC, and that was hip hop. That was the entity. There wasn't just the MC, and then you got the beats back here, or there wasn't just the DJ and you got the MC back here. No, it was an even level of the DJ and the MC vibing and synchronizing together to make fucking music. One thing that kind of I feel like a lot of new school heads don't understand these days is how fucking important the beat maker is. And I will say this until the day I'm motherfucking dead. Mike E. Clark is the third clown. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Y'all can argue that to me to the grave. I don't care. Mikey Clark is the third clown. The reason I say that is because if we hadn't gotten those beats and that production in the early days for the first 6 Joker cards, now I know he wasn't on the Wraith, but it wouldn't be the ICP we know and love today. Just plain and simple. Like, you have to give the producer and the beat maker credit. Like they so often get forgotten about, and they are just as important as the MC, in my opinion. Just as fucking important. So I just want to say that that's part of why I'm spending so much. All right, Bronco, whoop whoop. That's part of why I'm spending so much fucking time talking about this, is because to me it's so important who's making the beats for the clowns. And so, like I said, Straight Jacket, this is your turn to shine. This is your turn to prove your motherfucking self, because I tell you what, if this Joker card sucks, I don't know how much more faith I'm going to have in Straight Jacket. So that's all the time I'm going to spend on that. We'll move on. Another thing that I heard from that did happen at Big Ball is KJ Riddle actually was the first person to tell me this. He said that he was able to witness Big Hoodoo in the studio in the Lotus Pod recording a new song called, what was it, Trigger Finger, I believe. So not only did we get a new Hoodoo song last week or 2 weeks ago or whenever, but it sounds like he's working on more. So to me, this indicates we will be getting new Big Hoodoo soon. Obviously nothing has been confirmed, but come on, I can read the signs, and so I really expect that we'll be, Trigger finger. Okay, cool. So I'm really excited. I love Big Hoodoo. I think The Asylum was one of the most slept on albums. If y'all haven't heard that shit, it's dope. It was released over 2.5 years ago now. So we're definitely due for a new Big Hoodoo. And this brings me into my next little segue is LYTE. Now, I know I've been talking about LYTE on several episodes. I know everybody's been talking about LYTE. And I got to say, I feel like he's starting to fall into the same category as ABK. But he's only fucking been on the hatchet for a year and a half or two or whatever, maybe 2 years. I gotta say, as a juggalo who's been following Psychopathic Records and the Hatchet for the majority of my life, I don't really have that much respect for LYTE right now. I really gotta be honest with you. I'm sure most of you guys will be like, "Fuck you, Danny boy, LYTE's the shit." Well, if LYTE's the shit, then show me some songs of his, because as of now, I've only heard like 5 songs of LYTE, because all I've heard is that fucking Psychopathic Monster EP that he released at the 2017 gathering. And then throughout this whole year, there's been talk, okay, don't worry, LYTE's coming out with an album in December. It's like his birthday in December or whatever. So that's when he's releasing the album. You know, I've heard all kinds of rumors about that. Well, what day is it, y'all? December 30th, almost. It'll be December 30th. It is December 30th to some of you guys. It's 10:08 here, so it's almost December 30th. So unless LYTE comes out with that album today or tomorrow, then we're not seeing an album from LYTE in the year 2018. So let that sink in for a second, you guys, that there will have been zero music from the artist LYTE in the year 2018. Now, to me, this is just like, what the fuck? Why? Why? LYTE is I have lost a lot of respect. And not that I ever really had much respect for him, because I had nothing to base it off of. He's never fully captured my attention. LYTE has never fully been like, damn, like this dude is dope. Like, he hasn't. And it's kind of sad to see, because ICP was pushing the fuck out of LYTE for a good while there. Until Ouija came on the scene, and it seemed like Ouija kind of pushed him over to the back burner. And ever since then, LYTE's just kind of been in the shadows. I mean, am I wrong? Like, for real. Ouija's been on the hatchet for how long now? A little bit over a year. And ever since that's happened, Ouija is in the main headlight. And I've talked about this in my episodes before, so I don't want to repeat myself. But whether you like Ouija Mac's music or not, you can't knock his hustle, because that motherfucker is coming out with shit all the time. He has released a 17-track LP at the beginning of this year. He just released an 11-track mixtape at the end of the year. He's been pushing out a bunch of music videos. On top of that, his merch game is out the wall. Like, I feel like every week I'm seeing new merch from Ouija Mac. So this is coming from a totally unbiased perspective, because like, you don't have to like Ouija at all, but you gotta see how much work he's actually putting in. So you got this begs me to ask the question, what about LYTE? Why isn't he putting that same work in? Why the fuck? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm on, like, I've been hearing all kinds of rumors about, oh yeah, LYTE's off the hatchet, this and that. He got in trouble for the verse he was supposed to be on for Thanos. And if that's the case, that's straight up fucking stupid if he did get in trouble for that. Like if he actually got fired from the hatchet for that, some shit like that, that would be so mind blowingly retarded. But I'm not trying to get into that, because fuck, like, I would be so motherfucking pissed off if I was LYTE, and all good intentions and everything, just wanted to get on a track with all the dudes over at MNE plus Tech Nine and all them for that Thanos track, and Billy said no. And then that's one thing. If Billy said no, you can't, that's one thing. But for him to get punished, that is a whole nother level of fucked up. So again, that is pure speculation. Again, we still don't know if he got in trouble. But again, where is his work? Where is his projects? Where is a LYTE? LYTE hasn't even come out with a single this year. Can anybody in the chat tell me if I'm wrong? Have we heard one new LYTE song this year? Oh, wait. I really don't think we have. So it just really gets me scratching my chin. Like, okay, we got Ouija putting out all kinds of shit. Even the Clowns came out with a good little bit of shit this year. I mean, sure, there was no like full length record or anything, but you know, they released Hell's Cellar out there for the Ninjas. They released the Magical Bag of Poo, which had some old songs, some new songs on it. You know, they've come out with a few singles here and there. So ICP, you know, they're doing what ICP does. You know, they're working on a new Joker card and shit. So we know what they're doing, but you can't sit here and say you know what LYTE's doing, because you don't. There's literally nothing to show for it. He's got no new merch. He's got no new music. Sure, okay, he's on a couple shows. So he did fucking Big Balla's after party. Great. So he's doing Juggalo Day weekend pre-party. Great. Does that really mean anything? And on top of that whole thing, I mean, I think even at the seminar this year, he said, just wait, ninjas. Like in December, you'll get a full-length LP from him. Then how come we haven't heard anything about it? Like I said, it'll either drop today or tomorrow, if that's true. But otherwise, so much for that fucking statement. But I don't want to spend too much time on LYTE. It's just kind of whack to me, honestly, that he's just putting out nothing. So I don't care for LYTE. At this point, I feel like he's got to really put something out there to really grab my attention, to really be like, oh, damn, I was wrong about this motherfucker. Because as of now, all I see is that he's lazy. He doesn't put in the work for Psychopathic. He's not putting in work, period, at all. And I know there's a lot of LYTE fans out there. So it's like, what about his fans? Like, does he give a fuck about his fans? Doesn't really seem like it. But whatever. All this talk is probably going to get me quite a few haters. I don't give a fuck. But that's about it, you guys. That's about all the news I had to talk about what the fuck is happening in this current time. This is December the 29th, almost December the 30th of 2018. This is what the fuck is happening now in our Juggalo world. I have a really quiet chat room tonight, so I'm assuming nobody wants to get in and join the hangout and talk to me. If they do, I'll give you a couple seconds to let me know, and I'll send you the link. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap this bitch up. So, yeah. Any other news I didn't really talk about? I can't really think of anything too big. The Axis Family Tour dates were just released. Sounds like that'll be happening in March. Twisted is releasing a deluxe version of Abominations, which to me isn't really deluxe. All it is it's got both of the the Sucks to Be You single on it and the Return of the Pervert on it. So instead of it just being one song on the album, it's got both songs on the album. So that's really the only difference with it. Again, I think it's just another way for Twisted to be able to get a hand on one of their masters and resell it on their label. There's nothing wrong with that, so I'm not going to get into that because I know there's a shit ton of people on the internet crying, oh my god, they must have really blackmailed this time. Those slimy snakes, Twisted. Those slippery, slimy, grimy scum fucks. How could they possibly put music out on their own label? Oh my god! No, I don't care. It's their music. They have the right to put it out on their own label. So go fuck yourself if you don't think so otherwise. Otherwise, that's all I got for tonight's news, motherfuckers and motherfuckettes. That's what's happening right now in this very moment in the Juggalo world. And yeah, that's all I got to say, y'all. Y'all have a good night and a good, what the fuck is today? Sunday. Y'all have a good week. And I will see you sometime during the week for another episode of Boozy Brews and Beverages. If y'all aren't subscribed, hit that subscribe and like, and peace the fuck out. Woo!